You can spot many bad house indicators within about 60 seconds by using simple visual and sensory checks long before paying an inspector. I'm talking about roof issues, ceiling stains and patches, cracks in the flooring, failed windows, older HVACs. Most homes are going to look good on the surface, but that right there is your biggest issue because some of the biggest problems are so subtle and difficult to find that what looks good on surface may actually be your worst nightmare. And it gets even worse because you probably won't find out until after you close. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my process of what it is that I look for when I'm previewing homes with my client. You'll know exactly what I'm looking for and even looking at when I'm looking at homes. So if you're thinking about buying a home or probably currently in the process, stick around to figure out what is it that you must be looking at when you're previewing homes. Because if you can't tell between a good home and a bad home, that is your number one problem. In some states like North Carolina, you want to identify all your issues before even writing an offer because we have a deposit called due diligence fee. And that right there gets submitted with your offer. So let's just say your offer did get accepted and you submitted your due diligence fee. Unfortunately, your due diligence money just became non-refundable. But if you can tell between a good home and a bad home, how quickly can you tell? And how confident are you in your process? Because it's also important to note here that if you don't know how to spot a bad home, then you'll probably even have issues when it comes to financing because some financing loans like FHA and your VA loans, they give you issues if the condition isn't up to par. So before you even think about going to the property, you must do these steps first. Review the HOA rules. Confirm what school district is that home in. Check the commute times during rush hours. Review the seller property disclosure. And this is just a note here, but if there are too few listing photos, then that is a sign that there's likely an issue that the home is trying to hide. However, the very first thing that I'm evaluating is the curb appeal, the neighborhood. And I'm getting all this as I'm driving in. I haven't even stepped onto the property just quite yet. And the first thing that you should really take a look at, if it is of course importance to you, is the parking, right? Is it congested? Is there even places for you to go ahead and park? And this is all going to be depending on the time of the day that you're visiting. So if you are visiting when everybody's out and about or at work or whatever the case may be, that you might want to go ahead and revisit that area just to really get a real sense of feel when everybody is home. What does that really look like? Because I don't know about you, but I do not want to fight for any parking space. But moving on, we're also going to observe the noise. All right, is it loud or is it quiet? You know, what's really going on there? Are there any drainage issues? Is there any bad smells like nearby landfills? Has any of the neighbors or even the current home that you're probably about to go to, are they neglecting their landscaping? Is that neighborhood backed against a highway, commercial uses, train, or any major roads? It sucks to say, but you know that saying, you know, a photo says a million words. Well, and while trying to sell a home, you may not get the true picture of what it's like to live in a certain area. So this is why doing some of these steps will really give you the real reality outside of those photos or even the remarks that you see in some MLS listings. However, in addition, while getting closer to the property, you should really take a look to see how many trees are planted on that property or that lot and how close are they to the home in itself. Because the closer it is to the home, the more problem that you may have. But as you can see, inspecting the area around it is just as important as inspecting the home in itself because all of this is going to impact the home's value, whether you're trying to purchase it now or even trying to sell it later. And all of this is being done before you even take a step inside of the home in itself. In fact, I'll drop you one last one that I love doing, especially when I'm able to do it. And if you feel comfortable doing this, then please do it. You'll get a lot of information out of the person that you speak to. And I'm talking about if you see a neighbor or if you're even ballsy enough to go knock on a neighbor's door just to kind of get a sense of feel of the type of neighborhood it is, or maybe sometimes it happens where the neighbor is even more foretelling and gives you information about the seller and how they were maintaining the property, whether they were a good neighbor or not. You get so much information out of these individuals that sometimes it's worth taking because you can get information that can either deter you or even encourage you to even really move forward towards that home in itself. But I will say, tread lightly because, you know, who knows the type of person you're speaking to and what type of information they're going to be sharing with you. So all of it you want to do take with a grain of salt, but it's just something to do in addition to whatever else you're already doing. However, let's go ahead and move forward and talk about the next thing you want to check out, which is the exterior structure of the home that you're going to preview. And some of the red flags you're going to want to take a look at, or at least identify, is rotten wood, evidence of termite, broken or fogged windows, neglected gutters, roof issues. Like when I'm talking about the roof, I'm talking about look for deteriorated patches, curled shingles, shiny bald spots, missing pieces of the shingles, dips, and waves. If you really want to take things a step further, you should hopefully have this information, but I would highly encourage you to ask the age of the roof in itself. That will determine whether it's a newer one or old one, and that can kind of give you an idea if you're going to have to replace it immediately or not. And I know a lot of homeowners nowadays are using a lot of solar panels, so if that is on the roof in itself, just keep in mind you're going to have to remove those solar panels before replacing the roof, which of course comes at additional cost. Another thing to check is foundation and structural concerns like foundation cracks. If it's a horizontal crack, keep an eye on it. That is a huge concern right there. But if it's a vertical one, you just want to make sure it doesn't get worse. Also, I'm looking for any watering pooling around the property, and also if water is even entering into the home. But that is the hardest thing to find with just your bare eyes, especially if it's a fresh issue and it hasn't left the stains that is going to give you the evidence that water is inside of the home. So definitely take it by the case-by-case scenario. If you really want, which is something I really wish I did myself when purchasing my own home, was I really wish I previewed the home either the day of or even after it was pouring rain, because sometimes that right there will tell you a lot about a home. Next, I'm checking the major systems like the plumbing, the HVAC, the electrical, and the water heater, because those are all issues that will demand money immediately, and we're not talking about small amounts of money. But since they are so important, let's go ahead and talk about them in detail. For the electrical, I like to look at the panel and the breaker box to identify its condition. If it's original to the home and that home was built prior to 1990s, I would just be prepared to go ahead and replace it. Old brands like Federal Pacific often need replacement as they've been called as fire hazards. Then there is the water heater. Do yourself this solid, which you don't really have to do much with the water heater. Just really look at the manufacturer date. I mean, and that's going to really give you an idea of when that water heater may go. All right, most water heaters are going to give you about approximately 10 to 15 years. So just looking at that manufacturer date will give you an idea if you're going to have to replace it immediately or do you have some life in it still. Then there is the HVAC, which you can do the same exact thing I just talked about with the water heater, which is looking at the manufacturer date. That's going to give you an idea of how much life you have on it. And of course, a lot of it has to do with the homeowner in terms of how were they with their maintenance. So that's going to be a hard thing to really judge by just looking at the manufacturer date, which is why you can go ahead and take it a step further and just take a visual look and inspect the HVAC system in itself. Look for a lot of rust, debris, and or even if it's clean, right? If it's clean, then hey, that means the homeowner may be taking care of it and actually maintaining it. For one of the last major system, which is the plumbing, go ahead and open up those cabinets, look under the sink, see if there's any mold, if there's any evidence of water that was dripping on the cabinets below. You should be able to easily see these. In fact, you can go ahead and turn the water on. Don't be afraid now. Turn the water on and see if you can even see dripping in itself. Seeing how the water pressure really is another key sign. In fact, if you really want, I wouldn't suggest doing this, but you can turn on all the faucets in the home just to really see how everything operates when, really under that pressure. However, this is one of those that it's going to be really tough to identify really what's going on there, which I would suggest just go ahead and getting a sewer scope if you really are concerned or at least want to know what's going on with the plumbing in itself. This one here, you may not agree with me, but I consider any home with a pool as a bad home. Like, personally speaking, I prefer a HOA pool rather than a private pool because we don't know how those homeowners were with maintenance. If it's covered, you really won't know what's going on underneath it, and you won't know how operable is it until you go ahead and try to use it and find all these different issues and so on and so forth. And personally speaking, it's really hard to identify if a pool is good or not. I mean, the only thing that's really going to give you a sign is how is the plaster around it? How is the bottom texture of it? Of course, getting a professional out there is going to be your best bet, but this is why I don't even touch homes with pools. I stay far away from it, and I'll much rather go with a pool that's within the HOA because I know that they're going to be on top of it. And the best part is it has nothing to do with my dollars coming out of my pocket immediately. Sure, it's in the HOA fees and dues, but that's everybody too. But at the end of the day, focusing on those big major systems is important because those things can dramatically change your closing costs and even what repairs or costs you have to put into the home even after you close. But that was all just the exterior of the home. Let's go ahead and move on inside to the home. So when inside of a home, I'm first checking the flooring because I'm looking for any slopes, any soft spots, because that's going to give me a better sense of what's going on with the foundation in itself. Of course, when we looked at the exterior of the home, we checked out the foundation, but we only really looked for cracks. So looking at the flooring is another sign to kind of give you an idea of what's going on with the foundation. And when I talked about the plumbing, we talked about looking under the sink, but this is another sign of really just checking out all throughout the entire home for any mold, any rot, any water stains. In fact, I have a story about this that I personally didn't go through. An agent friend of mine went through this. In fact, this is another piece, right? Sorry, I almost missed this part. But if you see any fresh patches, fresh paint in certain areas, and it's like they didn't paint the entire wall, then that's a telltale sign that something is going on there, right? It's not, may not be easily visible because, of course, they probably did a good job with hiding whatever it is that they're trying to hide. But this is why it's important to kind of look for those fresh patches, because I had an agent friend of mine who literally told me that they walked into a home, and sure enough, they saw one of those fresh patches, and I was like, hey, what's going on there? And they were like, oh, it's nothing. In fact, they put like this picture over it, so the agent couldn't even see it. But thankfully, that agent had a good eye and was able to spot it. And they're like, hey, what's going on there? Next thing you know, a couple of weeks later, they had a pipe that literally burst in that same exact area. So there was already a leak going on there that the homeowners knew about, didn't say anything to anyone until the problem became a bigger problem that had to be addressed. So that's why I say when you see fresh paint or even water stains, right, those are easy telltale signs that something's going on that you should be really wary about. And just because you're walking into a new construction home or even a flipped home, please utilize and do everything that I already mentioned here. Because just because they are newer homes or they just recently got flipped does not mean that they passed and just everything is new, so everything should be all right. You'll find out really quickly that a lot of people like to cut corners despite what the home is and how brand new it is in itself. So that's why I highly encourage you, even if you're going through a flip home, pay attention to a bad paint job, misaligned cabinets, even new flooring. Right? Because at the end of the day, all of this could be a quick patch on or a quick band-aid for another problem that you're going to experience later, which ultimately is going to say just be careful of sloppy remodels. You know, no home is perfect, and you should really be getting an inspection anyways. So that inspector can be another set of eyes helping you identify any issues that you may have missed. But this is when I think you should really slow down, is when you see these red flags: an older roof, an older HVAC, signs of neglect, and a questionable remodel that was done. Those are all signs of more issues later. And also, you should try to at least get a buyer's warranty and try to negotiate getting the seller to pay at least for your very first year. That way, when you move into that home, you have one less worry to worry about, because you at least have some sort of protection that's going to, if something were to fail, that at least can help or at least cover the difference of that. And that was paid from the seller's expense. So you have a little bit of coverage there, but even trying to get a buyer's warranty could be really helpful. Now, with all that said, let me know in the comments below, what red flags have you seen in the homes? But thank you all for watching. My name is Roney Polynice. Consider subscribing, and remember, I got your back.